Guys, come back here around 12:30. Furious Pete and I will be putting down a full tub of Eat Smart and a Bio Grow, and then we're going to be going to the restroom right over there, so you can watch the whole thing live. Be sure to film it, put it on YouTube, share it with your friends. All right, check it out. Epic bulk. Now, think about bulk. Everybody's thinking about just going to a buffet and you got Caesars, you got all this. Now, we're going to talk about a bulk where you can actually still see your private parts. So, if you're interested in seeing your private parts while bulking, this is the place for you. Check it out. Here's the deal when you're designing a bulk, when you're designing a way to gain lean mass and not gain fat. Realize that not everybody is the same, that the body is not a textbook. So, some people have fast metabolism, some don't. I know some of y'all look at a carbohydrate, you gain like 12 pounds of water, right? You know who you are. You? Yeah, you're good, yeah. Steve, yeah. All right, I got it. That's why you need to eat smart, because it's the perfect ratio of protein, carbs, and fats. Is that good, Steven? All right, I take American Express, Visa, all that stuff. All right, so realize what your metabolism is when you start it. Another thing is, some people operate better on carbs, some fats. Now, I'm not going to get into the science of it. Women have been shown to operate better on fats, but overall, even men, clients I've dialed in for shows or I've bulked in the off season, sometimes they just do better on higher fat, higher carb diets. It depends on the person. Those are all variables you need to take into consideration. Another thing is previous diets. Let's say you competed, and you competed like 12 shows straight. You're one of those crazy bastards, right? And so you're competing, right? And after the show, you're up to like 8 hours of cardio a day and like, I don't know, 100 calories. Okay, that's just hyperbole, obviously. Now, you don't want to just go in and start eating 8,000 calories a day. So you have to realize where you're starting, all right? Another thing is cardio. Now, a lot of you guys will get done dieting, you just stop doing cardio. Realize cardio is a simple way to burn extra calories. It also increases your metabolism and increases partitioning and all that good stuff. So I always keep cardio in at least minimally on a bulk. Now, if anybody wants to ask a question, just raise your hand and interrupt me. Or throw something at me. Or ladies, you can flash me. Yes, ladies, please. Okay, so also schedule, like working in your workouts. You find this great workout routine and it's like 2 hours a day. But let's say you're a CEO, 10K a day like Stephen Adelaide. You gotta work those 19-hour days so you can afford his Bugatti and his Rolexes, right? You're not gonna be able to do that program, right? Not gonna be able to do it, not gonna be able to sleep, not gonna be able to recover. Family, stress level, those are all things to consider. Look at that, that's pretty awesome, huh? First thing you want to do is put protein into consideration. I'm going to get a little funky here. 1 to 1.5 grams per pound. Let's just keep it real, keep it simple. So if you weigh 200 pounds, between 200 and 250 is fine. Protein, you don't need to overdo it. Wait, hold on, product plug. Especially if you take BioGrow, which maximizes your protein synthesis. Okay, and it also depends on the person. If you're a man who has a lot of muscle mass, like Darren Willoughby, he needs a lot of protein because he's enormous, right? It also matters what kind of supplements you're taking. Obviously, Phil Heath will need a little more protein than somebody else, all right? But remember, protein is the base of your diet. Be sure to set that first. Make sure you get that in. Boom, fats. They're essential for optimal hormones. I mean, here's the thing. There's 2 essential nutrients. Essential amino acids, essential fatty acids. There's no such thing as essential carbohydrate, right? So that's the second thing you want to freaking set. So you want to make sure they're there to preserve optimal hormonal balance. They're an energy source as well, overall health. And one thing you got to do, again, is the variable involved. That's why I'm not going to come out and say, here's the perfect ratio. There is no perfect ratio. So if you're someone who operates better on higher fats, you're going to want higher fats. If you're someone who does really well with carbs, have high insulin sensitivity, boom, go with higher carbs. And then it goes into carbs. Carbs are not evil, guys. Carbs are not evil. Carbs are the energy source. Your body utilizes glucose as its primary energy source, right? So what you want to do is use carbs as a variable. You set your protein, you set your fat, you fill in the rest with carbohydrates. They're a fuel source and they're tasty and inexpensive. A lot of you might be thinking, why not just eat protein? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be converted to carbohydrate if you have too much of it, right? Am I right, Darren? Okay, good. He's a PhD, by the way. Me, not really. Barely high school. So they're tasty and they're inexpensive. I mean, here's the deal. Who doesn't like carbohydrates? Who cheats with chicken breast? That's right. You like carbohydrates, like pasta and stuff. You Italians, all that good stuff. Micronutrients, sweet potatoes, vegetables, fruits, full of micronutrients for health, wellness, and overall awesomeness. And another thing is, again, the variable, when to add and how high to go. Bro foods. How many people here have seen the term bro foods? Can I have a show of hands? Okay, ladies, can you please flash me? Okay, thank you very much. Would you like to come on stage? Oh, no, just kidding. All right, check it out. So, bro foods. What are bro foods? Bro foods, it's been kind of an internet thing where they say bro foods are whole foods, healthy foods, standard bodybuilding fare, your sweet potatoes, your chicken breast, your vegetables, things like that. Whereas a non-bro food would be Pop-Tart. Everybody reads the internet stuff, knows Pop-Tarts are the anti-bro food. So what you want to do is, I'm not against non-bro foods, but you want to get the basis of your diet from bro foods. They're full of micronutrients. My partner John Otis Hollywood, he likes 60%. I say about 80%. The rest of your macronutrients, don't deprive yourself. Balance is key. Have a damn Pop-Tart, but Pop-Tarts suck. It's all about toaster strudel. They're more satiating. They have more fiber. They're more filling normally than processed foods. And then we're going to get into another thing, a whole nother topic. Nutrition around training. Personally, other than some pre-workout, like PWR here, intra-workout like BCA, like Restorate or something like that, post-workout, the insulin spike and all that good stuff, I don't think it matters. As long as at the end of the day you hit your macronutrients, your carbs, your proteins, your fat, I don't think you need to worry about getting that magical 15-minute window of nutrition. But remember, no food is off limits. Make it work, have balance. But if you're getting ready for a show, eat exactly what your trainer tells you, unless he's an idiot. Main variables. Now let's just bring it all in, then we're gonna have Q&A. Can you guys please ask questions, because I feel stupid when no one asks questions during Q&A. I feel stupider. Okay, calories in versus calories out, that's number one. You wanna eat more food than you burn, okay? Another thing is, glycemic index, it doesn't matter. I don't really care about it. So you eat a baked potato, a white potato instead of a sweet potato. At the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference at all. Meal timing, it's not that relevant. It's been shown in research it's not as relevant as we thought. However, for maximizing protein synthesis, all that good stuff, and also for comfort, especially if you're bulking, your calories are higher. Unless you're Furious Pete, I think 3 to 6 meals a day is a good range, Then we get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then have like 2 Eat Smart shakes in between, and then have, a hot fudge sundae before bed. Adequate protein, obviously, protein is the basis of, it's the coolest macronutrient ever. And again, with bulking, I like to set it at, this is the main point, try to gain, start at a lower body fat. Don't start a bulk when you're like 30% body fat. I like to be under 8% to start a bulk. Aim to gain around 0.5 to 1 pound per week and adjust calories and macronutrients to make sure you stay within that zone, so you will gain more lean mass to fat mass. And that's bro logic right there. That's just something we came up with. Gaining slow, not going for the dreamer's bulk, not just going to cold stone every meal. That's how I prefer to bulk. Training, real quick, you could change diet and keep your training the same. You could go from cutting to bulking to whatever. You can change training, your diet remains the same. Not much is going to change. Unless you're doing the hypergrowth challenge, of course. So, here's the thing, diet and training, everybody goes, oh, diet's 80%. They just pull that number right out of their ass. And I've pulled a lot of things out of my ass before, but not that number. So here's the thing, training style will help determine gains, but training is the catalyst for everything. It's 100%. Diet is also 100%. Training without diet is like peanut butter without jelly. You're just left with a dry mouth. There's no perfect rep range. Periodization is key. High reps, low reps. Find a good program that you enjoy doing. That's another thing. Adherence and consistency are key. If you don't like your training program, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to get results, and you're just going to look like crap. You want to lift heavy enough to elicit overload. What does that mean? Train hard. If you look at the greatest bodybuilders of all time, they train hard. That's the factor involved. I'm not saying go till your joints hurt and you're broke. I'm saying that don't go in there and just go through the motions. Attack the weights. Attack it. All right, and go hard. But be cognizant. For those of you who don't know what that word means, to be aware. Just a little English lesson. Of your joints. Recovery. You don't have to go like 3 hours. Generally, I think workouts can last, if you can't get it in 60 to 90 minutes, I think you're either doing too much or I don't know, taking too much time between sets. So conclusion, John's not here. I think he's on the toilet. I think he did the eating challenge before me this morning. In conclusion, essentially, bulking is about bulking slow, bulking controlled, and have fun. I mean, if you're a competitor, off season is the time. If your mom makes a really yummy meal, eat it. But do it controlled, or have that free meal. Just don't have one 4 times a day. Don't go on the Dreamer's Bulk. Control yourself. And that way when you diet down, you can see your abs year round, not just for like 2 weeks after your show and then just turn into water buffalo. And then open Q&A. If anybody has a question, please raise your hand and I'll answer anything. Oh, my man right here.
What's more beneficial? Pre-workout shake?
Okay, the question is, what is more beneficial? I'm glad you asked that. What's more beneficial to have pre-workout? A protein shake or an energy shake? Let's say you're comparing Eat Smart versus PWR. I'm gonna say both. Here's why. I think the stupidest thing I've seen in the industry is on an empty stomach. Do you realize how long stuff stays in your stomach? I think that was just made up by BSN a long time ago, and I know Explode. That's when it started. I really, you know what, here's the thing. I still feel my pre-workout when I eat, and I do not believe in training on an empty stomach, not because of any super physiological benefit to eating, just because I'd probably fall down and break something. I cannot do it on an empty stomach, and normally, I'm just not a big fan of empty stomach training. I know you intermittent fasting people will throw something at me at this point. I just like having my clients eat before training, have some substrate, at least have a protein shake before training. And you know what? Then have your PWR or your pre-workout of choice, and I think you'll still get the benefits. It just might be slowed down a little bit. Next question. Yes. Okay, so your question is, you're keeping your macros, you're following them, but your weight's staying the same. It's going up. Are you getting leaner? Not getting leaner. Now, here's the thing. How long have you been training under John? January? Well, I mean, he's just... this is when John could have answered that. Have you had any body composition changes? Okay. Are you eating a lot of calories or a little bit? Well, okay, her question is basically she's been doing the same thing since January, following her macros, and she's pretty much on a plateau. A lot of times what happens is through years of dieting and following a certain lifestyle, you can, it's something that's, it's debatable, it's called metabolic slowdown, metabolic damage. And that's what I'm guessing. Again, without knowing more, I can't. What happens with that? This is where bulk comes into play, a controlled bulk. Let's say you're stuck and you can't lose any more weight and your calories are low and your cardio's high. Let's say that happens. One way to get out of that is slowly increasing calories. I actually have a guy right now from California, believe it or not, who he was at a sticking point. He was formerly obese. And we have his calories literally double what they were, and he's actually losing weight. So a good trainer like John will know how to reverse and actually kick it back in. And sometimes it can take a long time depending on how long you've had the issues. Does that answer your question? Sort of? What's that? If your weight goes up? Yeah, I mean, especially if he's reversing you a little bit, your weight's gonna go up a little, but when you get your calories up and you start decreasing them, your weight will come down. So what you gotta look at when dieting and when training, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So a good trainer is not gonna just drop you like, remember the HCG diet, that stupid crap? All right, of course you're losing weight, you're on 500 calories a day. It's stupid, but here's the thing. Everybody I know who did that, they're all fatter now than they were before. And I just laugh because I said, I'm like, told you so. After, I'm not arguing about that kind of stuff anymore. I'm done. So, lucky I like thick girls. All right, who's next? Questions? Yes?
What's the best way to get more fats in your diet?
Best way to get more fats in your diet? Like types of fats? Well, nuts. Who doesn't like nuts? Nuts, oils, things like that. Twinkies, just kidding. The best way to get more fats is to add them in your diet. I like Obviously, fish oil is something I recommend everybody take. That's a tier 1 supplement. And healthy fats. Cook with coconut oil. Add some oil. If you have trouble getting fats in your diet, peanut butter is a healthy fat. Almond butter. I mean, those are things that you can easily put on. Who doesn't like peanut butter, except unless you're severely allergic to it? That's the only time. But I mean, it's easy to put extra fats in your diet, and I recommend doing that. I recommend hitting a certain level of fat. And again, as a guy, I don't like to go below, for males, 50 grams of fat. I just never do, because it's so good for hormonal optimization. Animal fat, chicken thigh. Now you want to get a good 20 to 30% of your fat intake from saturates, from things like animal fat. And a lot of animal fat, like beef, has beneficial things like CLA and all that good stuff, especially grass-fed, which has a better fatty acid ratio. Also has omega-3s in it. So it's fine. Just be sure to get the ratio. If you get your fish oil supplement daily, I recommend everybody here take fish oil. If you get your fish oil supplement daily, I believe you're good. I believe you're good to go. I recommend the equivalent of a gram of DHA, whatever the EPA falls at per day. I like to get that gram of DHA, so just remember that as a nice little rule of thumb. Yes, sir. Alright, my man here is 40, okay? And he's trying to add some size, make some gains in his arms. And I'm the last guy to ask about that. I get made fun of my small arms all the time. What to do nutrition-wise and training as well? Well, obviously, when you're trying to build up a muscle, we're trying to build up a group, I believe in increasing frequency, because protein synthesis is about 48 hours, right? That's all. Like, if you train your arms hard now, your protein synthesis can be elevated for about 48 hours. So I would say train arms about 3 times a week. Increase the frequency. Train hard, but, vary it. Like one day do a lighter workout, one day do heavier. That way you're increasing the protein synthesis frequently throughout. As far as diet, you want to diet to gain. Now, just because you're trying to bring up your arms doesn't mean you don't have legs, and you don't have an ass, and you don't have chest, and you don't have a back. Train everything, but focus on your arms. One way to do that is throw arms in after chest, throw arms in after back. That's one way to do it, give them their own day. And then make sure you hit your back, chest, and all that. As far as nutrition, just like in the little cool Q&A, who is that guy? It's not me. I mean, with me, I'm much sexier than that. But check it out. I mean, just like I said, aim to gain 0.5 to 1 pound and just pray to God that it goes to your arms. I think prayer is the best thing. But focus on that weight point. Yeah. If you're atheist, your arms will never grow. Yeah. So atheists, start believing if you want your arms to grow. That's my problem. I just don't have enough belief. All right, next. Go ahead. You have other questions?
Sorry, so grams of protein. How do you know what to take to what you want to weigh? For grams of protein to take in, is it like, say you want to weigh 220?
His question is, how do you calculate grams of protein, what you take? Is it what you want to weigh, what you weigh now? And let's get even further. Is it lean mass versus fat mass? I'm not very smart. I'm from Inglewood, California. I'm a victim of the California education system, and that's right. Hey, sorry. You make great apples, by the way. Okay, check it out, man. Check it out. Let's keep it simple. 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight that you're currently at. And that goes along with the adjusting. So let's say you gain 5 pounds of size. Raise your protein. And stay within that 1 to 1.2, 1.5 range.
So it doesn't matter whether you're going up or going down?
I always think you should set it at about 1 gram per pound. It just makes it easy, simple, and even an idiot like me can figure that out.
Do you weigh, if you're trying to cut, do you weigh all your food all the time?
The question is, if you're trying to cut, do you weigh all your food? My answer is, if you're serious, you're going to weigh your food all the time. Here's the thing, if you're bulking, if you're on a serious bulk, it's just as difficult mentally and tracking-wise as a cut, because you're going to have to weigh it, because how are you going to increase your calories if you don't know what the hell you're eating? Exactly. Eyeballing it works for, I can eyeball within about 10% because I've been doing this a long time. But for most people, I found this. It's a known fact in my head. Nobody else believes it. But skinny people generally underestimate what they're eating or overestimate. Like, I got guys, dude, I'm trying to gain size. Well, what do you eat? I eat a lot of chicken. What the hell does that even mean? I get that answer all the time. Bottom line is, if you don't measure your food, everybody I've ever done a diet for who's a hard gainer, they always think they eat more than they do. I've never seen an overeating, overestimating hard gainer. Fat people, I'm not being politically correct at all here. I'm going to start talking politics and religion in about 2 minutes, so stick around for that. Fat people are always like, dude, I eat nothing. And when they add it up, and you can put them like on a 10,000 calorie diet, they start losing weight. And that's when you know that they're just lying to themselves. Does that answer your question sufficiently, sir? Yes. Sean? Okay, the question is for Steven, what's the best way to incorporate BioGrow to gain muscle mass? You actually did the presentation. What do you think, just a simple way?
Well, today at 3 o'clock, we're going to actually talk more in depth about BioGrow and how you use it. But really, if you're using protein, you need BioGrow. We all know that we're consuming lots of protein to gain weight. Some of us consume more than we probably need, but your body can only utilize so much on a per hour basis of the amino acids from protein. So BioGrow helps your body utilize, from a super physiological effect, all of the aminos in the protein that your body is consuming, so that you can essentially accelerate the rate of protein synthesis and grow muscle faster.
So essentially, I think, what is it recommended? Label recommendations, 2 scoops 2 times a day for most. And one of those doses coming around training, pre, during, or post. I mix it in my sludge pre-workout in the morning. He actually drank it during this morning. Yes, we do work out. And we do it at the Olympia too. All right, anybody else, any other questions? Feel free, I'm here all day. Anyone? All right, my man.
What's the difference from lean gain and reversing?
The difference between lean gain and reversing really isn't any. The difference is you're coming off a diet. Naturally lean people generally aren't reversing anything. They're just trying to gain weight. They stay naturally lean. Whereas a reverse would be someone who's coming off, let's say, contest prep. Let me use myself as an example. I got down to obscenely low body fat. And what I did is every time, it's right after the show, instead of just going on an all-out buffet binge, I wanted to maintain my abs. I had some guest posings. I wanted to be able to see my private parts, and I need to be really lean to see them. So the bottom line is, what I did is I slowly added in carbohydrate. My fats were adequate. My protein was adequate still, but my carbohydrates were lower than I'd like. So I added in the equivalent of about 250 calories from carbohydrate. Let's say that's about 60 carbs. Every time I didn't gain 0.5 to 1 pound a week. Now, usually for people coming off a contest prep, for you guys who are morons like me who actually compete, the bottom line is what you want to do. I usually say that after the show, from drinking water and just whatever, allow yourself a 5 pound gain off the bat. And then when you maintain, we start stabilizing your back to your contest prep calories, you get done eating an IHOP every morning, then you start getting the 240, 250 calorie increase from carbohydrates after that, preferably from toaster strudel. Any other questions? Anything else? All right, I think that concludes it, guys. At 12:30, I will be eating an entire tub of Eat Smart against Furious Pete, the greatest eater in the bodybuilding industry, and I'm going to lose. I'm gonna predict it right now. Don't put your money on me. I know it's Vegas, but I guarantee you this: it's gonna be delicious. Thank you very much for showing up. It's not a game.